Hi guys, German Prepper here. Jens Stoltenberg, NATO Secretary General, held a press conference ahead of the meeting of NATO defence ministers this week. Here is one pertinent question Stoltenberg was asked, and his reply, that I believe is of great interest. Listen through to the end, guys, because I have a direct reply from Dmitry Medvedev to give you immediately after. Spoiler alert, we are all in big trouble. Here's the question and answer. Terry Schultz, Deutsche Welle, NPR. Mr. Secretary General, you said that you will be making decisions at this meeting about how to increase national stockpiles and keep your arsenals full while supplying more to Ukraine. But for example, with the air defence, the air-to-air missile system that Germany is sending, that was something that Germany was expecting to order for itself. Estonia has sent its entire shipment of javelins to Ukraine. So are you worried that while allies are supplying Ukraine with everything they can, they are leaving themselves unprotected at home? And what will be your deliverables out of this meeting that will change that in terms of manufacturing processes and streamlining those? NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. NATO allies have provided unprecedented support to Ukraine with capabilities, weapons, ammunition, different types of military support. And that is something, of course, we welcome. And then we have encouraged this from NATO ever since the invasion started. Actually, we did that before the invasion. We have to remember that NATO allies have provided support to Ukraine since 2014, including training tens of thousands of Ukrainian officers, soldiers, which are now playing a key role in the defence against the Russian aggression against Ukraine. But after the invasion, allies stepped in. And of course, very much of the support that NATO allies have provided, the javelins, the air defence systems, ammunition that they have provided to Ukraine that has been taken from existing stocks. So by doing that, they have reduced their stocks. But that has been the right thing to do, because it is important for all of us that Ukraine wins the battle, the war against the invading Russian forces. Because if Putin wins, that is not only a big defeat for Ukrainians, but it will be a defeat and a danger for all of us, because it will make the world more dangerous and it will make us more vulnerable for further Russian aggression. So that's the reason why we have used NATO stocks from NATO allied countries to provide support to Ukraine. But of course, the longer this war drags on, the more important it is that we also then are able to replenish these stocks. That is exactly why we're now addressing how can we ramp up production, so we can produce more, both to replenish stocks, but also to continue to support Ukraine. I expect ministers to make decisions at the ministerial meeting tomorrow and the day after tomorrow on how to use the NATO defence planning process to agree on the more ambitious targets on, for instance, different capabilities, including a look into the possibility of increasing the targets, the guidelines for stocks. This will provide the industry with a long-term demand. They need to invest in new production capabilities because they have been able to increase production partly by utilising existing production capacity more. But to really ramp up production, you need to make new investments. I also expect them to agree on how we can further strengthen our interoperability, ensuring that allies can work together and also jointly purchase ammunition capabilities, partly to use in stocks, but also to actually ensure interoperability between allies. And the unique NATO defence planning process is, I think, the best tool to ensure that allies are coordinated and actually provide the long-term demand messages to the industry to ramp up production. Well, isn't that great, guys? Big business will be so happy. It seems NATO is planning on keeping this war going indefinitely, come what may. Here's what Dmitry Medvedev, the second most powerful man in Russia, has to say about Stoltenberg's reply to that question. The fastest way to escalate the conflict in Ukraine to the irreversible consequences of a world war is to supply psychos in Kiev with long-range MRLS. The aged leaders of the Washington Regional Committee and the upstarts from NATO should at least occasionally turn on their softened brains. And further, the NATO Secretary General's thesis that Russia's victory will mean the defeat of the North Atlantic Alliance is a direct confirmation of the bloc's participation in the war against our country. As they say, Not from a great mind, but from a pure heart. The honest Norwegian guy finally admitted it. So guys, an interesting spar between NATO and the Russian Federation there. Sadly, it seems to be a further proof we are at huge risk of entering a major world conflict. In one final, rather chilling note, 4 more US HIMARS systems have arrived in Ukraine today, bringing the total to 16, with 10 additional MLRS provided by other countries. A question for you all now to end. Why are people not panicking like they did during the Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962? As always, looking forward to reading your answers. Keep prepping, guys. Cheers for now.